Welcome to this video series on Proteus circuit simulation for first year engineering students. You can call this software as Proteus or Proteus. So I'll be calling this as Proteus. If you don't have this software on your PC, you can install a demo version of this software from the website. Now there is a limitation in the demo version. You cannot save your design. You can still use it. You can still share your circuit design with others by using any screen capture software, like in Microsoft you got the snipping tool. So about me, I'm an embedded system programmer. I have been programming using Arduino and ESP32. I'm an absolute beginner on this software. So I'm learning Proteus so that one day I can simulate my Arduino designs or any other microcontroller, which I came to know Proteus can do very well. So during my learning curve, whenever I learn new stuff about Proteus, I shall be making a video, and I hope my videos is going to help at least few students out there. So what I'll be covering in this video series or in this video is, let's have a walkthrough, like a playground, and we shall use some of the features of the Proteus user interface. You're going to learn how to pick electronic components, how to draw a simple circuit diagram, how to modify the circuit diagram, and how to change the properties of these components. Now, as I mentioned before, anything you do in the demo version cannot be saved. If you don't have Proteus on your PC, you can go to this website. Just search for Proteus PCB design. You will end up in this website, and choose resources and download and try the demo today. So if you scroll down, this is where the demo, you can download demo from. If you click, if you're interested to be contacted by the sales department, you can fill in this. Otherwise you can scroll down and click download. Now what I noticed is, so because of my antivirus software on my PC, I have a Bitdefender. I cannot get this Pro demo downloaded properly. So my antivirus just doesn't let you download this thing. So what I have to do is I have to just stop the antivirus for a while, download, install, and then everything is alright. So I just don't know why the Bitdefender stops downloading, installing this software. It's something to do probably with the name of this program, prodemo.exe. So if you come across such a situation, probably you can think about stopping your antivirus for a while, install, and then everything is alright. Say after I installed, I've scanned my entire hard drive and my antivirus did not show any problem with this software. So after you install the software, run the software, and you will end up in this home page or the startup page. So at present I don't know anything more about some of these options here, but however you can go through all these help documents. There are so many videos in YouTube, you can watch them as well. So I'm going to choose the new project. Since this is the demo version and we know you cannot save your document, there's no difference whether you give a new name or keep the same name what you see here. So I'm going to choose next, choose next, and choose next, and finally next, finish. So this is the place where you design your circuit and do the simulation. So as you can see, there are so many toolbars on the left hand side. There are so many menus on the top. Probably now as the time progresses I'll be able to explain or show how to use them, but in this video just jump in directly into choosing the components. So you just have to go and hit this this toolbar called P. This is called as a pick component. So I want to choose, you can type in any electronic component, say I'm going to type battery. So there are so many variations of the batteries here. Let's not worry too much about this thing. I just want to choose a battery, a DC voltage source. So as soon as I click here, you can see it's a schematic diagram on the right hand side, and choose OK. So like that, if I want to choose some more, say I want resistor. So you can see there are so many resistors here. Just choose a pod. And in fact, you can choose your component by going through this, the options on left hand side. You can choose on the category, say I want the capacitor, and you can choose the subcategory here, I want a ceramic disc, and you can also choose the manufacturer, say choose the Maplane, and probably these are the capacitors along with the product ID. If you want to order them from Maplane, probably you can use this as stock code. So but at this stage we are not worried about any specific manufacturer, so you just choose a component, so and say OK. Now what you can also do is, you don't have to add the component one at a time. You can just I'm going to show you how to do this. So you can choose a number of components and finally close this window. So again I'm going to go to battery, so I'm going to choose that. Just choose, instead of clicking this on OK, just double click on this component. As you can see, the cell gets added to your list. You can also call this list as your pick list, or this is all your inventory of the components you're going to use in your circuit. So I'm going to choose, say, diode. So just choose a random, double click random diode. So this happens to be a bridge, so I got it over here. So like that, resistor. So I can choose a pot, double click, it's already there. So I can double click, I got a generic one, then double click. So as you can see here, by double clicking, you're adding the components to your list. Now finally click on OK. So I've got so many components here. Now the next thing is, we are going to see how to make a circuit diagram. So first you have to click on the component you want, and as you can see here, when you move the mouse, it changes into a pencil icon. Just click here, and if you want multiple occurrences of that, just click, but it's like a double click. So double click, double click, double click. So when you double click, you're placing those components. So take a cell, double click, then go to a resistor, double click. So probably if you click once, so you get the shape of the component here. So again, click second time, it get placed on your work area. So like that, the first click, it just shows you the shadow image of your component, and click, it places there. So this is what you're going to do if you want to multiple. So now we know how to pick the part or a component and place it on the worksheet. Next we're going to learn how to zoom in and zoom out. You can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. So before that, make sure you're in the selection mode. So on the top, on the left hand side, choose the topmost toolbar in selection mode. So just play with the mouse wheel, so you can see you can zoom in and you can zoom out. You can also do this from the toolbar here. You can see it says zoom in, and you can zoom out. Now when you are in the zoom in mode, or when you are zoomed in your design, you can use this viewer on the top left hand side. You can see there is a green rectangle. So click that and move the rectangle. This is basically like a pen. You can see whichever part of your circuit diagram on the screen. So this will be very useful when you have a zoomed in screen and you want to see a very specific part of your circuit diagram. And then release the left mouse button, you're back to the, or click it again, sorry, and you're back to the same thing. So if you want to go back to the full screen mode, that's the default mode, you can just go and hit this, the zoom button here. It's called zoom in to view the entire worksheet. Now you're back onto the default worksheet mode. You can also zoom in a particular section of your work, so you can use this button called zoom to area. So click that and draw a rectangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle that covers these three parts, and click again. You can see that you are zoomed into these three components, and go back to the default mode by pressing this zoom the entire screen. Now every component you use on your design has got two parts, actually, the two sections, you would say. Now I'm going to zoom into this resistor R5, which has a value of 316 ohms. Now you can use whichever you want. Probably I can use this zoom into an area. Click that. So just select that bit and click again. So you're zoomed in. Now when you hold the mouse, you can see that there are three subparts. So the top one is R5. This is a reference name. So most circuit diagram you draw, you'll end up giving some name to that. Now if you want to change this thing, you can always change this name. If you double click, so this is the screen. I want to change this as say for example say light. Enter. So you have changed that. And the bottom one, 316, this is the value of the resistor. When you double click, you can change that value to say 500. So now you got a 500 ohm resistor. When you double click the diagram itself, so this will open a screen where you can change both the string as well as the value. As you can see here, this window is more makes sense. It shows you the part reference is the string light, and the resistance is 500, and there are so many other properties which you are going to learn in my future videos. So press OK. I'm going to go back to the sheet mode. So click. So now you know how to change the part reference name and the part value. So let's try again on this battery. So I'm going to zoom just that battery. Click. So you can see here when you move the mouse, you get this the diagram which is grayed out. Then you got the B8 and the 12 volts. So change this voltage to, say I want 9.5 volts. Okay, and double click, change this reference to, say for example, mains, or you can say primary. So change the name, then back to the sheet mode. So like that you can play around this and just make yourself comfortable, and you know how to change the value of the component and how to change the component reference. So next you're going to learn how to move these components around. So for moving, make sure you hit the diagram, not this the name or the value. So click on that and right click. You will get this option called drag the object. Choose that. Now you can choose move to a new place and click again. So try again. Right click, drag the object and move. So make sure you click on the symbol, not the string, because you can, if you did that for a string, just see what's going to happen. I'm going to just click and drag, so you will end up dragging only the string R4. So you can always undo your operation by using Control Z. Goes back. Now click, or you can also click and draw. That's also possible. So what you do is first click and draw. So first you do the left click, then click again and move wherever you want. So you know how to move the components now. In addition to picking components using the P, there are also other places where you can add the components to your circuit board. So I'm going to choose this component called ohm meter. I'm going to use this in my next video. So choose that. This instrument is used to measure the resistance of the circuit or any component. So take that. I'm going to place one instances of that. Double click. I got here. And on your left hand side, if you choose the toolbar that says virtual instrument mode, click that. There are so many components you can drag and drop here. You got oscilloscope, you got logic analyzer. I'm going to use a DC voltmeter. Click that once and double click wherever you want. You can have any instances of a DC voltmeter. This is to measure the voltage in the circuit. Likewise, we are going to use a DC ammeter. Click that, and once you click, the mouse changes to a pencil icon. So double click, and if you want to move, just drag, and you can move anywhere you want, or you can click and say drag object, and you can move wherever you want, and you can zoom in and zoom out. Now you can use this small view to control which part of your screen you want to bring in front of you, and click again. So now I'm going to tidy up this screen, and we're going to see how to make connections between the components. So first I would like to delete all the components on the screen. You can click one at a time and right click and say delete objects, or you can go to the edit menu and you can say select all objects and hit the del key on your keyboard. So everything is gone. So I'm going to go back to the component mode. So I'm going to bring few resistors. I'm going to have double click here and double click here. I got 3 resistors. So bring a cell or bring a battery, say double click. Now you can also zoom in a bit, and you can control your view. Okay, click there. So in order to connect these components, now I'm going to tidy up a little bit. I'm going to right click and drag and bring this near here, and this one right click, drag and bring this over here, and assume that I want to place this in a vertical, in a vertical position. So what you can do is first click this icon, right click, and you can rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise. I want to rotate clockwise, and I'm going to drag here and bring it in the center. Now in order to make the connection, move the mouse near the connector. So you can see that you get a very flashing red rectangle there. Click once. So move the mouse up and make yourself a nice path. Look at that, and click there. So I'm going to connect this and this, and I'm going to connect this. You can just go and draw. You don't have to trace the path. You can just probably go and hit the other end of this connection, and this software decides the path. Click and click and click here, and finally this one I'm going to click here. So this is how you make the connection. Next, if you want to make any adjustments to the connecting wires, you can just click it and right click. You get so many options here. Assume that you want to delete it, you can choose the deletion, or you can directly go to the selection mode and click on the connecting wire, and you can drag. You can see you can drag this, and depending on what you want to do, you can use this option. So now we learn how to delete. You can just select. You can use your keyboard delete as well, and click, So when you select this connecting wire, it changes color to red, and then right click, you get many options here. You can drag the wire, so you can see you can drag it, you can do like that, or you can delete it. Okay, so I'm going to reconnect this. So I'm going to place a DC voltmeter between these resistors R1. So choose DC voltmeter, and I'm going to click here, click. So I'm going to connect this end over here and the other end over here, and assume that we want to introduce a ammeter between this line. The simplest is, at this stage especially, select that and just delete. So click on the DC ammeter and click anywhere you like, because we know how to move, and click. And if you want to move this, you want to rotate this, right click and say rotate clockwise. So I'm going to connect this end here. I'm going to connect, click there, sorry. So I'm going to connect. So it looks like you have to wait for the cursor changes to this pencil icon, and click here. So now we go to ammeter. So like we did before for other components, when you double click, you can change the properties of this component. Say for example, it's showing volts and the load resistance is 100 mega ohm. And if you double click amps, the important property here is the range, whether you want to measure in amps or milliamps, you can choose that. You can also give a part reference, say you got reference here, like that. You can do the same thing for your voltmeter as well. Okay, so now you know how to add components, how to move the components, how to rotate the components, how to make simple connection, and how to zoom in, zoom out. And we also seen some of the virtual instruments here, and you know how to add the ohmmeter. So that's all in this video. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see you in my next video.